Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again. My name is Liz Lewis. For those of you that don't know, I live in northern Maine in Zone 4, and this channel that I've created here is all about gardening, I guess you could say that. It's all about gardening and tips and tricks on how to grow flowers and vegetables. Um, in one of the shortest growing seasons imaginable. So, anyway, I've mentioned before that it takes a lot of planning and organization, and today I am going to kind of give you a tour of my setup that I have here for growing in Zone 4. And you are in my bedroom right now because one of my first tips and tricks for growing in Zone 4, especially if you are on let me get in front of this light, especially if you are on, a bit of a budget like I am. I live on a teacher's salary, and that's just the way it is, and I'm always budgeting and planning, and so I have to fight the weather. I have to fight with the costs of all of these materials that are required for growing a strong, healthy garden. I also live a very long distance away from a lot of places. Just a Walmart, is a 20-minute drive from where I live. A Home Depot is over an hour. So you gotta be problem solver, and you have to think outside the box and come up with tips and tricks to help you out. So I posted a picture on my Facebook a couple of days ago about my setup here and how I'm getting really antsy and ready for spring, and somebody private messaged me, asked me what's the deal with the weird curtain in front of my my shelving system here. So I'm going to explain that to you right now because it's actually a really cool trick, and it's a really easy way to help you out. So when you want to grow indoors, like I said, I'm going to stand in front of this light here because it's really bright. When you want to grow indoors, it can take a lot of room. So a shelving system is a good idea. I do not have the money for a greenhouse, or else I would be in a greenhouse. But hopefully that'll happen next year. So I just had to get creative and be like, well, where in my house can I set up some plants so they're not in the way, and I won't forget about them. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll find a place downstairs in the basement. I know that would be a horrible idea for me because if they're out of sight, out of mind, I'm going to forget about them. I know I will. All right? So I needed it to be someplace where I would be able to get to it and see it all the time. So it would remind me, go check your plants, go water the plants, go fertilize the plants, all that stuff. Turn on the lights, turn off the lights, turn on the heater, turn off the heater. So if they're downstairs in the basement, I'm not remembering to do it every day. I'm just not. So there was a wall, as you can see right here, in my bedroom that really didn't have anything there. So I was like, perfect place. The bed's over there. Plants are right here. First thing I do in the morning is I turn the lights on and water everything, check everything out. When I go to bed, shut the lights off. Okay? So it's right here in my face, can't forget about it. And it lights up my whole room, as you can see. There's no other lights in my room right now. This is lighting up, well, there is a little light over there. It's not very bright though. It's like a little, side of the bed desk light. But it lights up the room pretty good, and you will see why. Because I'm going to move this curtain just for a second, just to show you something, okay? So you can see right here, where I don't have a curtain, how bright it is. And then just moving it away like that. And this is just 1, 2, 3 lights on. I have more lights that are not even on yet. So this is super, super bright. I wanted to do this video earlier in the day, but with the window and the sun coming in from the window and then the curtain here, you couldn't even see me on the screen. There was so much whitewash light. So I couldn't do it. I had to wait until it was dark. But anyway, what's the deal with this curtain? Somebody asked. Well, here's the deal with this curtain. I spent, let me see, this shelving system probably cost me, I think it was like $96. As you can see, it's taller than me, and it actually gets even taller because you can put wheels on the bottom and it can be mobile with wheels. So it's a really nice tall, and I'm pretty tall, shelving system. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves. And on each shelf, I have these LED lights. Not every shelf has 2, but this shelf has 2. This shelf down here has 2, and these ones have 1. And then I have more lights up there for when I'm ready to use them. And the lights, you can't just get any lights. You have to get, and if you want to write this down, this would be important right now to get a piece of paper, because if you're thinking about getting these lights, I'm going to give you the information that you need to look for. You need to write down lumens, Lumines, lumens, and kelvins, okay? The lumens, mine are 4,000 lumens. Most garage lights, like the ones that you would buy at Walmart or Home Depot, whatever, have 4,000 lumens, and that's more than enough lumens required to grow seedlings, healthy seedlings. You really only need like 2,500 to 3,000 lumens. And these lights are also 5,000 kelvins. Okay, that's another thing that's really important. It doesn't come anywhere near close to mimicking sunlight, but it's as good as you're going to get without killing your electricity bill and, overheating, burning your seedlings. You don't want to burn them, so that's the recommendation, 4,000 lumens. That's what I have right now, and 5,000 kelvins. You can go a little less than that, but all of these, I'll put links in the description of where I bought these lights. They're all from Amazon, but they do sell the right lights just like these at Walmart, and they're about $18, okay? This shelving system was like $98. So there's a bit of an investment right there, but it's a necessary one. I couldn't think of any other way to do this outside of popping up a greenhouse somewhere and throwing a heater inside of it, It was much more affordable than a greenhouse. But anyway, so the deal with the covering right here is this is a solar blanket. Okay, this is a solar blanket. What this does is, well, it does like 3 things for me. First thing it does is I don't need these lights really to light up my whole room, right? I don't want them to light up my room. I want them to light up my seedlings. So this is very reflective. So when it's closed, as you can see, it really does help to block a lot of the light, and it traps it inside on the shelving, okay? So it's right on my seedlings, and it's not escaping out into the room. I don't want it to do that. I want it all reflecting right back onto the seedlings, okay? So that's going to up the level of light brightness inside this little unit here. Another thing that this solar blanket does is, seeing that it is solar, it actually does help keep the warmth in here a bit. I have another blanket that I hang on this side, but I wanted to show you like the amount of light that does escape. It does actually help. Inside here is a few degrees warmer than out into my room because it is a solar blanket. These lights don't give off a lot of heat. I mean, I can touch them, but they do give off some warmth, and any little bit of warmth, to help create that humidity in the humidity domes is a good thing, because I don't want to have to turn my furnace up to get most greenhouses are like 70 degrees and beyond. Well, we like to keep our house right around the 67, 68 because oil is expensive. So if I can steal a couple of degrees of heat with a $2 solar blanket, I'm going to do that, and it works. Okay, because it is warmer in here than it is out here. I also have a little space heater on the bottom shelf. Okay? I do not run this all the time, but on days when it's brutal cold and I'm feeling cold in the house, I don't want my seedlings to get cold, so I'll turn it on. But only when I'm in the room with them. So disclaimer there, Don't ever do this and leave it unattended. I mean, I know nothing's going to happen. This has a safety switch in it, so if it gets to a certain level of temperature, or if it reaches temperature, it automatically shuts off. It has like a thermostat in it. I keep it on the bottom. I don't run it all the time, and I just make sure that I'm in the room with it. You know, this is the room that I do spend quite a bit of time in. I do my work in here. I like being in my bedroom when I'm not cooking, and, you know, if the kids are in the living room watching a game or on the PlayStation or whatever, I can get away from that and come in here, do my work, you know, go on YouTube and watch videos or play with my seedlings here. So, it's a really easy setup, fairly inexpensive. I mean, I'm just quickly adding in my head maybe $200. You know, I had the heater. Another cool tip and trick for the future, you know, start thinking about ways to mobilize all your seedlings. Eventually, you know, I'm going to have to transplant all of those seedlings into other containers, and I don't use the Jiffy trays, you know, so I bought these boot trays at a local salvage store, and they were $2.99 each, so I have a few of those. While I was in that store, you know, they had a big sale on Maxwell House coffee. I noticed there was 3 or 4 of these stacked to the side. I grabbed them, put them right in my cart, and when I went through the checkout line, I said, hey, I saw these over there. Can I have them? Yes, I could. They gave them to me for free. You know, you go to a yard sale, or you have old, this is new, it was only $1 at that same salvage store. It was the only one like it. I'm hoping that I can go back and find some more. But everybody has old, rusty, junky, you know, 13 by 9s. This one's actually like a 15 by something, probably a 15 by 11 or whatever. Pans that this is a tray, you know, I can put 30 tomato plants in here in a few months, you know, and it just makes it easier for taking them out to the kitchen, watering, fertilizing, and then bringing everything back. All right, so these little tips and tricks, anything that you can do to help you not have to carry everything one little seedling at a time is going to help a lot. So this is my setup for right now. I already know, because of the plans that I have for this spring and summer, that I am going to need another one. I sat down with my husband last night and I was doing some math, and I'm like, you know, I want to grow like 500 tomato plants to sell them in a seedling sale in the spring. And I was like, that shelf's not going to cut it, because I can only fit about 33 maybe seedling plants in here. And I can put probably, 1, 2, 3 on the shelf. So it's a good thing I had that little, like I said, this is all planning, right? And it's organizing, and so I've already got another one of these shelves in my cart to get another one, and I have a couple more lights up there that I haven't opened up yet, and I'm going to need to get a few more. But like I said, when you start early, you're going to be okay, because I'm not even going to plant. I want my tomato plants to be 10 weeks old when I sell them, so they're big, strong, healthy tomato plants with a really solid root system. Because, again, when you have a seedling, you know, if you go to a nursery and you buy like those little 6-packs of tomatoes or peppers or whatever, you're getting about a 4-week-old seedling, okay? And then you take that seedling and you disturb it, because you transplant it into the ground. Okay, well, transplanting is going to set that seedling back at least 10 days. At least. Because now it's got to, for one, survive the transplant. A lot of times they don't. And then it's got to acclimate itself to its new surrounding if it hasn't been properly hardened off, meaning if it hasn't really spent too much time in direct sunlight, out in all the elements of wind and rain and cold and temperatures increasing and decreasing, the seedling's going to go like through survival mode and almost like stop. It's going to stop growing and do everything it can to settle, to grow roots, right? So that's a lot of the times. So that's why here in Zone 4 in Maine, people go to these nurseries and they buy these little itty bitty, 4-week-old tomato plants that are cute and they're healthy and all that stuff. But then you don't end up with tomatoes until, my gosh, mid-August, right? Sometimes even later, like last year with the drought and everything. We started getting a few tomatoes the first week of August, but really, I was still getting tomatoes well into the end of September, but that's because I didn't get really the bulk of the fruit until way later in the season. We were just lucky that we had a really warm fall and we didn't really get a bad frost that killed the plants too early, because everything was really late last year with maturity. So when I sell my tomato plants, I'm going to be selling 10-week-old plants that will be hardened off. That means that they will spend time every single day in the sun, in the wind, in the hot temperatures and the cooler temperatures, because they need that acclimation time. And so that way, when you take my plant and you go put it in the ground, it's going to still set it back a little while, but you'll already have a really good sized plant when the plant's finally ready to say, okay, let's grow. So it's all of this planning and thinking that goes into this. And that's why I'm sharing these videos with you, because a lot of people wonder why, how come those people down in, just Waterville, one zone away, they have tomatoes, end of July, bushels and bushels of tomatoes, and we're like, how long are you going to be green for? Are you going to be green forever? Like, we got thousands of green ones, but no red ones. So that's why. So, I think I covered everything that I wanted to. Our snapdragons are, I don't know if you can see them, but they're right there enjoying their little sauna. They have not germinated yet. They won't germinate, I don't suspect, for another 2 days or so. My salvia is over there. And, so the other day, I don't know if you see, I have these cups. Yes, I even save, the big golden arches. I even save all of these cups because you can put stuff in them, poke holes in the bottom, and you're golden, right? So last fall, in the clearance section at Walmart, they had a whole bunch of tulip bulbs. And so I ended up buying a whole bunch of the tulip bulbs. They were like $1.50 or $2 a bag, and I bought almost all of them that were there. And something that I tend to do is I buy things, and then I ask my husband to go put it somewhere for me, and then out of sight, out of mind, I forget about it. I do that a lot. I'm getting better, but I do that, especially if it's something that I bought on a whim. Like, I wasn't prepared to be buying those tomato plants that day, right? It wasn't something I planned. It was just, oh, here they are, great. So my mind hadn't really consciously had a plan for them. I'm a planner. I have to have plans, right? So I just stumbled upon these poor little tulip bulbs still in their bag, in a paper bag, downstairs on a shelf. I'm like, oh my God. But they weren't dead. They were starting to sprout. I was like, how in God's green earth are these tulip bulbs still alive? I don't know. I was sure they would have dried up and shriveled up, and I know you can store bulbs, but I didn't store them properly. They literally just went plopped on a shelf. I don't know. And I don't even think that you need to store tulip bulbs. They just stay in the ground, right? I don't know what happened. But anyway, I found them, and I was like, ooh, yay for me. But, so there's some of them there. I mean, there's more in the back that I don't think you can see. And so I plopped them in there and I covered them up and I'm threw water on them and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. But, I mean, it's coming. That's it right there. Well, that wasn't there. Now it is. So I know it's growing. And yes, save these. I've had these for I don't know how long. Anyway, I don't throw any of this stuff away unless I destroy it accidentally. So yeah, that's my setup. That's setup number 1. I will have a setup number 2. And that's it for tonight, I think. Yes, I think that's it for tonight. All right. Thank Jesus for something today. Love y'all. Be blessed.